learned to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming into October 20th, 2020, and the stock market triggered a warning today. We got a down Friday, down Monday. Today was a very interesting down day because earnings is getting kicked off. We saw our little Netflix indicator. We'll talk about it, but today was surprisingly big, and I have a few separate points I want to talk about. We are entering a very, very crucial point here. The election is just 10 days away, trading days, so I hope you're ready. But we have a lot to talk about with today. We want to go over what happened. I have the keys. I have the plays I'm looking at for tomorrow, even setting up with earnings. If you are going to be playing earnings, make sure you guys are watching all of these watch lists because we're going to be going over them. We went over them yesterday. We have a few companies tomorrow, but even the pricing and all that, but have a few of those plays and then the plays we made today. So let us not delay. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99 and costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the stock market. You can post the plays, see the plays, watch the watch. Let's come to life. And yes, if you want Middle Eastern profanities yelled at you while you're trading, then yes, we are the place to be. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch below. Let us know what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Chad, baby. So right off the bat, first thing is that warning we're talking about, or that trigger is down Friday, down Monday. So this doesn't happen too often, believe it or not. We talked about this on stream. We've talked about it many times on this channel. But when you have a red Friday and then a red Monday, surprisingly does not happen as often as you would think. But when it does, it's kind of like a bearish signal warning, or even it signifies a top or a bottom, but this one is more so pointed towards the downside. So it is very, very interesting. The next thing we have to watch for is that Netflix indicator. We're going to talk about this a lot more, but you could kind of see it. Even though today was a pretty bad day, even though we didn't gap down, you could kind of see how some stocks moved, and it was clear, even though the market was down 1% almost, Netflix is up almost 1%, even though there was a little bit after hours move, and this is the after hours move you see on the SPY. But what I'm trying to say here is coming into the election, like I said in the beginning of this video, it is about 10 trading days away. It's right around the corner. That is really where a lot of volatility might be tied into, or at least we'll get some information. But watching these earnings and how they play out and how the market responds to earnings and the broader factor, that is going to be key. Now, as far as what you're seeing after hours, even today was a bigger sell-off. It wasn't a gap down. We actually gapped up and then began to sell off, but it had to do with stimulus as well as some of the expectations leading into the election. So today, it's calling it the stimulus soft landing. We've been hearing about this a lot. Even after hours, the news that brought the market up was them saying that they came closer to the deal. So we were waiting for it today. Munchkin and Pelosi went in at 3 p.m. The talk lasted about 54 minutes. They said that they finally had some agreement, but all throughout the day, they were saying there wasn't an agreement. And now a lot of market participants are kind of viewing this as today is the day the market is finally pricing in that we won't get stimulus till election, but I already think the market is priced that in. So I don't necessarily know if that's the case, but we will find out by Tuesday. Tomorrow after hours, they said they'll have a deal, but that might be the dagger in the coffin, or we'll see how that kind of pushes things. But like I'm saying, you still have earnings, and then the election is a lot closer than you think. Like I said, trading days wise, you're going to have 2 or 3 weekends, but it is right around the corner. It's actually 11 trading days, so not 10, but we're there. But a lot of people are attributing today's move to stimulus. It was a very, very weird move. You didn't see other things move in the sense of commodities or anything like that. Even the pound, some people were saying that was leading, and that is a key to watch here because there is a lot of drama going on in the UK, but the currency moves weren't really too out of the normal except for Bitcoin. They did pretty good. So today is kind of like a pre-earnings move. The only thing that was different about it is that it just kind of moved a little bit bigger. So we need to watch. We'll have to watch even at the bigger companies. That's why I'm calling it the Netflix indicator, because if some of these bigger companies that report, watch how they hold up, or if they don't hold up, when when you start to see these kind of market sell-offs. But as far as everything else, I would also watch for a China gray swan this week. We saw some sanction news about them today. It was a little bit light, but all in all, today was just a little bit weirder as far as explaining the move we saw. And I even answered this question. People said, does the market do bad during earnings? And why today is kind of interesting. It reminds us how the beginning of September started, but the only time you saw a bad October was in 2018 with the repo crisis, and then in 2014, very, very briefly, that was the first Russia sanctions, the price drop of oil from 100 and all that. That was a really, really big time then. So the only thing left would be the election or the virus, and if any of those things kind of really go crazy till then, we'll see. But usually October is very, very strong, especially with the earnings season and especially with all the stimulus on the table from all ends. But finally, the last thing we need to talk about, and this is why I'm saying I think we're going to really even be honing in on the election, and I would expect to see a lot of people do that, or at least for the markets, it is very, very close, but 325 is that key level. So we talked about this. This is for the statistics of just the presidency. It's about with 87% success in the last 50 years. It's the last 3 months or the 3 months before the election. If the stock market is up or it's outperforming in those 3 months, those are 3 green months on average. I think it's give or take. So you guys could fact check this and look this up. But if the market is up over those 3 months, the incumbent, the current president, will win 87% of the time. And there's only 2 instances pretty much in the last 50 years that hasn't happened. If the market is down, then that means that the current president will lose and will not get another term. So this is very interesting because this is that point we've already been at, 330 to 320 pretty much. This was the lows of September. You would think I'm going off of technicals or anything, but that's just the beginning right here at August 1st. This is where it kind of all started. So it's interesting to see that's kind of where you've bottomed out and had support and where it was prior. But this is that key level. If we're above or below and coming into the election, I think this is just a key level to watch. And I think you might have a battle over this range. So I hope you're ready. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, we have a few different plays, stuff that I'm looking at. I mean, just in the nature of this election and even why today was weird, you're going to need a little bit more confirmation. Remember, we got those SPY puts last week. It was a different logic, but the fact of the stimulus not getting worked out, bringing that to the market, and then now with the election so close, and we'll see if we get any dagger in the coffin type of info on Tuesday. But the thing I like about these SPY puts is that they only went up 12%, even near the money SPY puts. Again, the SPY puts I got last time were far out of the money, so I'm not putting a real specific play here as much as if you're looking for protection, or if we do see volatility, or if any of these earnings really, really blow it and you get the Grim Reaper. The key you want to pay attention to is pricing right now, and that's why one of the main things to watch, even from a pricing indicator level, is the UVXY. It's just telling you how much options are going up, because if this is like a big day, it feels really intense, you're not seeing a reaction, you're not going to gain money on those plays, and then if the market bounces up, you'll get clapped. The question is, if you buy options, will there be a sustained move, or will you have enough time to actually be able to profit off of them? So key is watch the pricing. I'm going to be observing that this week with some of those SPY puts, but we got some of those last week. As far as the other plays that I'll be looking at, there's 2. We have this Intel. We made this one today. I'm going to be writing this one out. We'll go over this, but then Netflix I have not made, but I want to. So I'm going to be watching this for tomorrow. They report after hours. You're also going to get Snapchat, Texas Instruments, and iRobot, and then Texas Instruments is kind of linked to the Intel play there. But like we said, watch the sympathies this week, but don't forget to watch the premium. And now that's the key with Netflix, because as I'm getting ready for this, I would have made a play today if it wasn't as volatile, or I would have looked at it, but we need to see this coming into tomorrow. We got to see that it's pricing in $40 today. So if there's no real premium move, if it doesn't make a big gap up or down, or there's not a lot of volatility in the morning and it makes sense to set up a play, I might even consider doing a call credit spread, considering some of the bearish we're having in the market. Or if we do see that, I wouldn't be surprised to kind of see what Netflix does with a little bit of a pop lock and then ultimately sell off over the week, or if the market draws it down because it is holding strength now. So I'm going to look for some of those plays in the morning, depending on premium, or the question or the key is going to be they're pricing in $40. We want to see where they are at close, because if it's pricing in $40 today and then by the end of tomorrow moves another $40, we want to see if that option chain is still expecting the same thing. So naturally, a lot of people always ask this, even though we explain it a lot, is how do you price something in, or what does that mean on the option chain? If you have TD Ameritrade, you'll notice you enter in a ticker, you'll see MMM in yellow here. It says plus or minus 40.90. That's the market maker expected move. it's saying there's about a $40 estimate there for earnings. But then another little trick here, and it varies different based on the time and everything else. Right here on the option chain, it'll say plus or minus all throughout the dates. That's telling you how much the market is pricing in. So based at the current price, that means, on the weeklies, they're expecting a $48 move. So actually, when we looked at it this morning, this was even lower. The market maker expected base move was lower, but factoring in the implied volatility, this was a little bit lower today. So even how we closed, even though the stock stayed the same, that moved a little bit. But that is going to be key in watching for all of these earnings. We're going to go a lot of these. I'll even be looking at Snapchat and Texas Instruments tomorrow, but that will probably be the main play I will look at tomorrow. Again, if we could set a good credit spread, there might be some cheap, lower risk plays or high credit, lower collateral plays that we might be able to take advantage of. So we've kind of flipped it around, but maybe I'll be able to show you guys another strategy here with credit spreads. So we'll see. But as far as the final play and the one we made today, Intel, I really, really like this play because we caught it off of the news and we caught it pretty early. It ended up selling off, came up a little bit after hours, but the key with it, Intel's a big company and it was a double whammy for earnings. So I got to get calls on it. I had old January puts on Intel, but now we could get a call position. I played it for a different reason, but the reason that helped me justify it was, hey, they're also going to have earnings and they're towards the end of the week too. So it's good and bad because it'll probably be at the mercy of Netflix and the other earnings, and we'll see what happens from there. But I really liked them. The play or the news with it was that they were selling off their NAND unit or part of it for like $10 billion to some South Korea company, but brought the whole industry up. And I'm pretty sure that was the area that they were kind of struggling with, or at least it's going to help them out. Some people said it adds a couple dollars to their market cap. I haven't been able to verify that per se for the deal. So we'll see. But I grabbed these November 20th 62.50 calls. We got them pretty early. I got them at 37 cents. They shot up to double, but I think they closed just slightly up. So I'm still holding all 10. Could have made them free when they were shooting up, but I just liked the play considering the market was going down. And like the Netflix indicator, there was a lot of weakness in the market. So that pop really held a lot of strength, even this after-hour move. So I like it. I want to see. It seems like the contracts didn't go too much, and that's kind of even what I'm saying with the UVXY lately. As we've seen some of these premium hits, you've been seeing moves, but you haven't really been seeing the follow-through per se with the option prices. So those are going to be the main ones I'm watching tomorrow. As far as everything else, watch DraftKings. They're shooting up a little bit after hours, but now we're still in that play. We made a little bit money on the naked put sell. As far as the other play, it was interesting. I'm probably going to be up more with the after hours move. I was up like 900 earlier, but it slipped. But then we lost $400 on the insurance play. So you could kind of see that was some of the gains, but then we only gained $300 back. So again, that's still just the loss that we're holding down from last week, if you think about it. So we're just writing that one out there for now. So still holding those, watching those. I have a Disney credit spread. I was up 50% on it. Remember from last week, I had a lot of credit. We should have took it. It was like $400. Now we're down on it like 20 or 30%. So it was a really, really big flip. I was very, very disappointed on that. We'll see how that one plays out. But the DraftKings naked sell, we made $200 on it, but we're still down overall $1,000 on that. So just holding those plays. Earnings season is here. Going to be hunting a lot for tomorrow. Watch Apple. I will be watching just overall effect with the market, even relation, like we're saying, that Netflix effect too. It's good to pay attention to see what's moving. I will watch STX and TXN. If TXN is a deal, I brought this one up yesterday. They can surprise, and we've hit surprises on them, but they're not expected to move too much, but we will see. If the option chain is cheap, I would not be opposed to it, so watch them. Micron Sympathy is well related to Intel. There was also I think it was Texas, or which one was up 6%? WDC, that's who came up with it. It was WDC. They were up 6%, all related to that deal, or 9%. Damn. So watch out for them. Watch Snapchat. They're hitting up. I mean, 29. They're almost hitting that IPO, and again, their earnings is going to be tomorrow. So I like it. I think this is really going to be a critical one. I mean, they're about to have their report at one of their all-time highs from IPO. This is going to be a make it break it moment. It's either going to put Snap in a new dimension, or Snap might turn into the new Twitter. I'd hate to say it, but we will see what happens with this earnings tomorrow. It will be very, very exciting. But watch them. Watch Disney. Even though we have that credit spread, I like them a lot, even in relations with Netflix. I would not be surprised to see a sympathy playoff either or, but I think overall Disney will win. If Netflix does bad, they'll do good. If Netflix does good, they still might do good. Just if the market likes a stream increase, so watch them. iRobot reports tomorrow. Again, some of the more obscure plays that are reporting this week, they've moved a little quieter, and they've been moving a little big because another one of those companies is Align, and they're going to be reporting this week as well too. So watch both of those. Watch the banks as well. They kind of outpaced today. That caught my eye. So Bank of America, JPM, even Wells Fargo, and then another one I forgot. Don't forget that follow-up, but Target. The options have been a little bit weird as it's kind of just been slowing down, but I like them. That's a weird after-hours chart, but keep your eye on them. And then finally, you could look at TLT, GLD, all of that, but they didn't really move too crazy today. TLT kind of looks like it on the downside, but it wasn't as big of a move. The key here is going to be the VIX coming into this earnings, as well as if we see any of this other stuff develop. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. If you always think it's coming from the devil, you're going to miss your opportunity to break out. But the cold loves you. I love you. And we'll see you in the morning. Let's go.